The Mountain Sanctuary. There was a small village at the bottom of a great mountain. The village was quiet and peaceful. Houses with red roofs lined the narrow streets. Gardens full of flowers surrounded each home. A clear river ran through the center of the village, its water cold and pure from the mountain above. In this village lived a woman named Maya. She was 35 years old and worked as a teacher in the village school. Every day she taught children to read and write, to understand numbers and nature, to be kind and curious. Maya loved her work. She loved seeing the children learn and grow. But lately, Maya had been feeling restless. Something was missing from her life, though she couldn't say exactly what. She had a good job, good friends, a comfortable home, yet she felt incomplete, as if there was something important she had forgotten or never learned. Every evening after work, Maya would walk by the river. The sound of the flowing water calmed her mind. She would watch the ducks swimming, the fish jumping, the dragonflies hovering over the surface. These moments by the river were the best part of her day. One evening in early autumn, as Maya walked along the river path, she looked up at the mountain. The sun was setting behind it, painting the sky orange and purple. The mountain looked mysterious and beautiful. Maya had lived her whole life in its shadow, but she had never climbed it. The villagers rarely went up the mountain. They said it was too steep, too difficult, too dangerous. But as Maya looked at the mountain that evening, she felt a strong pull. Something was calling to her from up there. She felt it in her heart, in her bones. It was like the mountain was speaking to her, inviting her, asking her to come. Maybe I should climb it, Maya thought. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Maybe the answer to this restless feeling is up there on the mountain. That night, Maya couldn't sleep well. She kept thinking about the mountain. She imagined what it would be like at the top, the view, the air, the feeling of being so high above everything. She dreamed of walking through mountain meadows, of discovering hidden valleys, of finding something precious that she had been missing. In the morning, Maya made a decision. She would climb the mountain. Not today, she needed to prepare, but soon, very soon. She went to the village library and found books about the mountain. She learned that it was an ancient mountain, millions of years old. Long ago, it had been a volcano, but now it was dormant, sleeping peacefully. Many different plants and animals lived on its slopes. There were forests of pine and oak, meadows of wildflowers, rocky cliffs where eagles nested. The books also mentioned something interesting. Near the top of the mountain, there was supposed to be an old monastery. It had been built hundreds of years ago by monks who wanted to live in solitude, closer to the sky, away from the busy world. The monastery was still there, the book said, though few people visit it anymore. Maya felt excited reading about the monastery. Maybe that was what was calling to her. Maybe she was meant to visit this ancient place. She started preparing for her journey. She bought a good backpack, sturdy hiking boots, warm clothes, a sleeping bag, a tent. She bought a map of the mountain and studied it carefully. The trail to the top would take 3 days of steady walking. She would need to camp 2 nights on the mountain. Maya told her friends and family about her plan. Some were supportive, saying it would be a good adventure. Others were worried, saying she shouldn't go alone, that it was too dangerous for a woman by herself. But Maya felt determined. This was something she needed to do, and she needed to do it alone. She asked the school for a week of time off. The headmaster agreed, finding a substitute teacher to take her classes. Maya felt grateful for his understanding. The day before her departure, Maya packed her backpack carefully. She included food, nuts, dried fruit, bread, cheese, chocolate. She packed water bottles and a filter to purify water from mountain streams. She brought a first aid kit, matches, a flashlight, a knife. She brought a journal and pens to record her thoughts and experiences. That night, she had a special dream. She dreamed she was already on the mountain, walking through a forest. The trees were tall and ancient. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. Birds sang in the branches above. A deer appeared on the path ahead, looked at her with gentle eyes, then disappeared into the trees. In the dream, Maya felt completely at peace. All her restlessness was gone. She felt like she was exactly where she belonged, doing exactly what she was meant to do. When Maya woke, she felt excited and ready. Today was the day. Her journey would begin. Maya woke before dawn. She dressed in her hiking clothes, comfortable pants, a long-sleeved shirt, sturdy boots. She ate a good breakfast of eggs and bread. She filled her water bottles. She checked her backpack one last time to make sure she had everything. The village was still quiet as Maya walked to the edge of town, where the mountain trail began. A few early risers saw her and waved. The baker, just opening his shop, gave her some fresh rolls for her journey. "Be safe," he said, "and come back with good stories." The trail started gently, winding through farmland at the base of the mountain. Maya walked steadily, her backpack comfortable on her shoulders. The morning air was cool and fresh. Mist hung over the fields. In the distance, she could hear roosters crowing and cows lowing. As she walked, Maya felt her excitement growing. With each step, she was leaving her ordinary life behind and entering something new, something unknown. It felt scary and thrilling at the same time. After an hour, the farmland ended and the forest began. The trail became steeper. Maya entered the shade of the trees. The forest was cool and quiet. Pine needles covered the ground, soft under her feet. The smell of pine and earth filled her nostrils. Squirrels chattered in the trees. A woodpecker hammered somewhere nearby. Maya walked for several hours, stopping occasionally to rest and drink water. The trail zigzagged up the mountainside, climbing higher and higher. Sometimes, Maya would come to a clearing where she could look back and see the valley below. The village looked small now, like a toy village. The river was a silver thread winding through green fields. Around midday, Maya reached a small waterfall. The water tumbled down rocks covered in moss, creating a pool at the bottom. Maya sat on a large stone beside the pool and ate her lunch: bread, cheese, and an apple. The sound of the falling water was soothing. Maya felt happy and peaceful. She took off her boots and socks and put her feet in the pool. The ice was icy cold from the mountain snow. It made her gasp at first, but then felt wonderful, refreshing her tired feet. A butterfly landed on a flower near the pool. It was orange and black, its wings moving slowly. Maya watched it for a long time. She noticed the delicate patterns on its wings, the way its antennae moved, the careful way it sipped nectar from the flower. She had seen butterflies many times before, but she had never really looked at one so closely, with such complete attention. This was already different from her normal life, Maya realized. In the village, she was always busy, always moving from one task to another. She never had time to really look at things, to really be present. But here on the mountain, there was nothing to do except walk and observe and be. It felt like a gift. After lunch, Maya continued climbing. The trail became rockier and steeper. Her legs began to ache. Her breathing became heavier, but she didn't mind. The physical effort felt good. It was honest work, just putting one foot in front of the other, again and again, climbing higher and higher. In late afternoon, Maya reached a flat area where previous hikers had made a camping spot. There was a circle of stones for a fire and several places where tents could be pitched. Maya decided this would be a good place to spend her first night. She set up her tent, carefully choosing a spot that was level and protected from the wind. It took her a while to figure out how all the poles and stakes worked, but eventually she succeeded. The tent stood proud and secure. Maya felt accomplished. She gathered firewood from the forest, dead branches that had fallen from trees. She arranged them in the fire circle and lit them with her matches. Soon a cheerful fire was burning. Maya sat beside it, warming her hands, watching the flames dance. As the sun set, the sky turned magnificent colors: pink, orange, red, purple. The clouds caught the light and seemed to glow from within. Maya sat by her fire, eating dinner, a simple meal of soup she had heated over the flames, and watched the sunset with complete attention. She realized she couldn't remember the last time she had watched a sunset from beginning to end. In the village, she was usually inside by sunset time, preparing lessons for the next day, or cooking dinner, or doing housework. She had forgotten how beautiful sunsets were, how each one was unique, how the colors shifted and changed minute by minute. As darkness fell, stars began to appear. At first, just a few bright ones, then more and more until the whole sky was filled with them. Maya lay on her back on the ground, looking up at the vast display of stars. She had never seen so many. In the village, there were always lights that made the stars harder to see, but here on the mountain, far from artificial light, the stars showed themselves in their full glory. Maya recognized some constellations, the Big Dipper, Orion, Cassiopeia, but most of the stars were unfamiliar to her. There were thousands of them, millions perhaps. Each one was a sun like Earth's sun, some of them with planets orbiting them. Some of those planets might have life. The universe was so vast, so mysterious. Maya felt very small lying there under the stars, but she also felt connected to something larger. She was part of this universe. The atoms in her body had been created in stars billions of years ago. She was literally made of stardust. The boundary between her and the universe was thinner than it seemed. These thoughts made Maya feel peaceful. Her restlessness seemed less important now. Maybe what she had been seeking wasn't a specific thing at all. Maybe it was just this feeling of connection, of being part of something larger than her small daily life. Maya went into her tent and crawled into her sleeping bag. She left the tent flap open so she could see the stars. She lay there for a long time, watching them, listening to the night sounds of the mountain, the wind in the trees, the call of an owl, the distant howl of a wolf. Finally, she drifted into sleep. Her dreams were peaceful and full of light.
Maya awoke to the sound of birds singing. Dawn light filled her tent. She emerged from her sleeping bag and stepped outside. The morning was fresh and cool. Mist drifted through the trees. Everything was wet with dew. Maya made a small fire and boiled water for tea. She sat drinking her tea, eating bread with honey, watching the forest wake up. Squirrels began their morning activities. Birds flew from tree to tree. The sun rose higher, burning away the mist. After breakfast, Maya packed up her camp. She made sure her fire was completely out, scattering the ashes and covering them with dirt. She left the camping area as clean as she had found it. This seemed important, to move through nature without leaving a trace, without damaging or disturbing. She shouldered her backpack and continued up the trail. Today, the path would take her above the tree line, into the high meadows. Maya felt excited to see this new landscape. The morning's walking was steep and challenging. Maya's legs were sore from yesterday, but she pushed through the discomfort. She found that if she walked slowly and steadily, breathing deeply, she could manage the steep sections. It was like meditation, just focusing on the breath and the steps, letting everything else fall away. After several hours, the forest began to thin. The trees became shorter and more scattered. Then suddenly, Maya emerged from the forest entirely. She was in an alpine meadow. The meadow stretched before her, covered in wildflowers. There were flowers in every color: yellow, purple, white, red, blue. They swayed in the mountain breeze. The air smelled sweet and fresh. Bees moved among the flowers. Butterflies danced in the sunshine. Maya stopped and stared. She had never seen anything so beautiful. The meadow seemed to glow with life and color. Behind it, the mountain rose even higher, its peak white with snow. The sky was a deep blue, with white clouds drifting slowly. Maya walked into the meadow, feeling like she was entering a sacred space. The flowers came up to her knees. She walked carefully, trying not to step on too many. She found a large, flat rock and sat on it, taking off her backpack, just wanting to be in this place for a while. She closed her eyes and listened. She could hear the wind, the bees, the birds. She could hear her own breathing and heartbeat. Everything seemed to be breathing together, one great breath. The meadow breathed, the mountain breathed, the sky breathed, and she breathed with them, part of the same living system. Maya sat there for a long time, maybe an hour. She felt no need to move, no need to do anything,
Just sitting in this beautiful place was enough, more than enough. It was everything. Eventually, a sound made her open her eyes. It was the sound of bells, small bells tinkling softly. Maya looked around and saw a herd of goats coming over a rise in the meadow. They wore small bells around their necks that made gentle music as they moved. Behind them came an old man with a walking stick. The man saw Maya and raised his hand in greeting. He walked over to where she sat. "Good morning," he said. His voice was rough but kind. "You are hiking to the monastery?" "Yes," said Maya. "I hope to reach it tomorrow." The man nodded. He had a weathered face, deeply tanned and lined with wrinkles. His eyes were bright and clear. He wore simple clothes and carried a small pack. "I am Tomas," he said. "I am a shepherd. I bring my goats to these high meadows in summer. In winter, we go down to the valley." "I'm Maya," she said. "I'm a teacher from the village." They sat together on the rock. Tomas pulled out a water bottle and took a drink, then offered it to Maya. She drank gratefully. The water was pure and cold. "Why do you go to the monastery?" Tomas asked. "Most people don't go there anymore." Maya thought about how to answer. "I'm not sure exactly," she said. "I just felt I needed to, like something was calling me there." Tomas nodded as if this made perfect sense. "The mountain calls to some people," he said. "Not everyone hears it, but those who do must answer. It is important." "Have you been to the monastery?" asked Maya. "Many times," said Tomas. "The monks there are good people. They live simply. They spend their days in prayer and meditation, in working their gardens, in helping any travelers who come. They have found peace. You can see it in their faces." "How much further is it?" asked Maya. "From here, maybe 4 or 5 hours of walking. The path continues through this meadow, then climbs higher to a pass. On the other side of the pass, you will see the monastery. You could reach it today if you wanted, but I suggest you camp one more night on the mountain. There is a beautiful place near the pass, a small lake surrounded by rocks, good for camping. Then tomorrow you can reach the monastery in the morning." "Thank you. That's helpful advice." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. The goats grazed peacefully around them. The wind blew gently. Clouds cast moving shadows across the meadow. "The mountain teaches patience. You cannot rush it. You must take your time. Go slowly. Pay attention. Those who hurry miss everything important. Those who are patient discover treasures." Maya felt these words resonate deeply. This was what she was learning. Life in the village had been so busy, so rushed. Here on the mountain, she was learning a different pace, a better pace. "I should continue with my goats," Tomas said, standing up. "But I will give you some advice for the monastery. When you arrive, tell them Tomas sent you. Ask for Brother Marco. He is my friend. He will welcome you and show you around." "Thank you," Maya said. "Thank you very much." Tomas touched his hat and walked away, following his goats. The sound of their bells faded slowly as they moved across the meadow. Maya watched until they disappeared over a rise. Then she shouldered her pack and continued on her way. The trail led through the meadow, winding between patches of flowers. Maya walked slowly, stopping often to look at the flowers, to watch the bees, to simply stand and breathe the mountain air. In late afternoon, she reached the high pass that Tomas had mentioned. From here, she could look back and see all the distance she had climbed. The valley was far below, hazy in the distance. She could barely see the village. It looked unreal, like something from a dream or a memory. On the other side of the pass was the small lake Tomas had described. It was perfectly round, its water clear and blue. Large rocks surrounded it. A few twisted pine trees grew among the rocks, their shapes bent by years of wind. Maya found a flat spot among the rocks and set up her tent. She gathered wood and made a fire. Then she sat by the lake, watching the evening light change, watching the sky turn from blue to pink to purple to black. That night, the stars were even more brilliant than the night before. The lake reflected them, so it seemed like Maya was surrounded by stars, above and below. She felt like she was floating in space, held gently by the universe. She thought about her life in the village, about her work, her friends, her daily routines. It all seemed far away now, like another life. She wondered if she would be the same person when she returned. She suspected not. This journey was changing her in ways she didn't fully understand yet. But that was okay. Change was good. Growth was good. She was exactly where she needed to be, doing exactly what she needed to do. Maya went to sleep feeling grateful and at peace.
Maya woke early, excited to reach the monastery. She packed quickly and started walking as soon as the sun rose. The trail led down from the pass, winding around the mountainside. After about 2 hours of walking, Maya came around a bend and saw it, the monastery. It was built of gray stone and sat on a flat area carved into the mountainside. Several buildings surrounded a central courtyard. A wall enclosed the whole complex. Behind it, the mountain rose even higher, its peak gleaming white with snow. In front of it, the land dropped away steeply into a deep valley. The location was breathtaking. The monastery seemed to hover between earth and sky, suspended in the vast space of the mountain. Maya understood why monks had chosen this place. It felt close to heaven, separate from the ordinary world. She approached the main gate slowly, feeling both excited and nervous. What would she find inside? Would the monks welcome her? What should she say? The gate was made of thick wood, weathered but strong. There was a rope hanging beside it with a bell attached. Maya pulled the rope. The bell rang, its sound clear and pure, echoing across the mountainside. Maya waited. After a few minutes, she heard footsteps. A small door within the larger gate opened. A man looked out. He was middle-aged, with a shaved head and a gentle face. He wore simple brown robes. "Hello," he said, smiling. "Welcome. How can we help you?" "Hello," said Maya. "My name is Maya. I've come from the village in the valley. Tomas the shepherd said I should ask for Brother Marco." The man's smile grew wider. "I am Brother Marco. Any friend of Tomas is welcome here. Please, come in." He opened the gate fully. Maya stepped through into the courtyard. It was beautiful, simple but carefully maintained. There were flower beds with roses and lavender. A fountain bubbled in the center. Several buildings surrounded the courtyard: a chapel, living quarters, a workshop, a kitchen. Other monks were visible, going about their morning tasks. One was sweeping the courtyard, another was tending the flowers, a third was drawing water from a well. They all worked quietly, with focused attention. "You have come at a good time," Brother Marco said. "We are about to have breakfast. You must be hungry after your journey. Please, join us. Then we can talk." He led Maya to the dining hall. It was a simple room with long wooden tables and benches. About 20 monks were gathering there, taking their seats. They nodded and smiled at Maya, but didn't speak. There seemed to be a rule of silence during meals. The food was simple but delicious: fresh bread, cheese, honey, fruit, milk. Maya ate gratefully. The monks ate in silence, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It was peaceful, contemplative. Everyone seemed focused on the act of eating, savoring each bite, grateful for the food. After breakfast, Brother Marco took Maya on a tour of the monastery. He showed her the chapel, where the monks gathered several times a day for prayer and meditation. It was a beautiful space, with high ceilings and windows that let in streams of light. The walls were plain white. There were no decorations except a simple wooden cross. He showed her the library, filled with ancient books and scrolls. The monks spend time here each day, reading and studying religious texts, philosophy, poetry, science. Knowledge is sacred. Learning is a form of prayer. He showed her the gardens where the monks grew vegetables, herbs, and flowers. Everything was organized and well maintained. We grow most of our own food. Working with the earth keeps us humble. It reminds us that we depend on nature, on the cycles of seasons, on forces larger than ourselves. He showed her the workshop where the monks made various things: furniture, pottery, candles, baskets. We believe in useful work. Making things with our hands helps us stay grounded. It's a form of meditation.
Finally, he took her to a small guest house. "You are welcome to stay here as long as you like," he said. "We often have visitors, hikers, seekers, people who need a quiet place to rest and think. We ask only that you respect our schedule and our rules. We maintain silence during certain hours. We work in the mornings and evenings. We gather for prayer at dawn, noon, and sunset. You are welcome to join us or not, as you wish." "Thank you," said Maya. "How long do people usually stay?" "Some stay a few days, some stay weeks or even months. You will know when it's time to leave. The mountain will tell you." He left her alone in the guest house. It was a small stone building with a simple bed, a table, a chair, a shelf. There was a window that looked out over the valley. Maya sat on the bed, taking everything in. She felt like she had found something precious, though she wasn't sure exactly what. That afternoon, Maya explored the monastery grounds on her own. She walked along the wall that surrounded the complex, looking out at the vast views, mountains in every direction, valleys far below, sky above. She sat in the chapel for a while, enjoying the silence and the light. She walked through the gardens, admiring the neat rows of vegetables and the colorful flowers. Everything in the monastery was done with care and attention. Nothing was rushed, nothing was sloppy. Every task, no matter how small, was performed as if it mattered, as if it was sacred. This was so different from life in the village, where people always seemed to be hurrying, cutting corners, doing things halfway while thinking about the next task. As evening approached, a bell rang. The monks gathered in the chapel for evening prayer. Maya joined them, sitting in the back. She didn't know the prayers they said, but she closed her eyes and listened to their voices. The sound was beautiful, deep and harmonious, echoing off the stone walls. After prayer, the monks had a simple dinner, again in silence. Then they had a period of free time before bed. Some read in the library, some worked on personal projects, some simply sat in the courtyard watching the stars emerge. Maya sat on a bench in the courtyard. Brother Marco came and sat beside her. "How do you find our monastery?" he asked. "Peaceful, incredibly peaceful. I feel like I can breathe here, like there's space for my thoughts to settle." Brother Marco nodded. "That's what we try to create, space. Most of the world is so full of noise and activity that there's no space for anything real. Here, we make space, space for silence, for thought, for the divine to enter. How long have you been here? Maya asked. 20 years, Brother Marco said. I came when I was 30, about your age. I had been living in the city, working in business, making money, but I felt empty inside. Like you, I felt something calling me. I came to the mountain, found this monastery, and never left. Do you ever regret it? Do you ever miss your old life? Never, Brother Marco said firmly. This life is harder in some ways. We have little comfort, little variety, but it's also richer. I have time to think deeply. I have work that feels meaningful. I have brothers who truly care for each other. I have silence and space and beauty. What more could I want?
But don't you get lonely? Asked Maya. Don't you miss having a family, having normal relationships? The monks are my family, Brother Marco said. As for romantic relationships, children, I won't lie and say I never think about what that might have been like, but everything has a cost. If I had chosen that path, I would have given up this one. I chose this path, and I'm content with that choice. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. The stars grew brighter. The air grew cooler. A moth fluttered past, attracted by a lamp burning near the chapel door. Why did you come here, Maya? Asked Brother Marco. What are you seeking? Maya thought about this. I'm not sure, she said honestly. I just felt restless in my normal life, like something was missing. I thought maybe if I came to the mountain, I would find whatever it was. And have you? Asked Brother Marco. I don't know yet, said Maya, but I feel different, calmer, more present, like I'm waking up from a long sleep. Brother Marco smiled. That's a good sign. The mountain is working on you. The silence is working on you. Give it time. Stay here a while. Rest. Observe. Think. The answers you seek will come, though they may not be the answers you expected. How long should I stay? Asked Maya. As long as you need, Brother Marco said. There's no rush. Your life in the village will still be there when you return. But this time here is precious. Don't waste it by rushing. That night, lying in her bed in the guest house, Maya felt more peaceful than she had in years. The silence of the monastery surrounded her like a blanket. Through her window, she could see stars in the dark outline of the mountain peak. She fell asleep easily, deeply, and dreamed of flying over mountains, light and free.
Maya stayed at the monastery for many days. She fell into its rhythm naturally, as if this was the life she had always been meant to live. She woke each morning at dawn when the first bell rang. She would dress and go to the chapel for morning prayer. Even though she wasn't religious in the traditional sense, she found the morning gathering meaningful. There was something powerful about starting the day with silence and contemplation, with a group of people all focused on something larger than themselves. After prayer, the monks had breakfast. Then they dispersed to their various tasks. Some worked in the gardens, some cleaned the buildings, some studied in the library, some worked in the workshop. Brother Marco assigned Maya some simple tasks. She helped in the garden, pulling weeds and watering plants. She helped in the kitchen, preparing vegetables and washing dishes. She helped in the library, dusting shelves and organizing books. Maya found deep satisfaction in these simple tasks. At first, her mind would wander while she worked, thinking about her life in the village, making plans, worrying about various things. But gradually, she learned to focus completely on the task at hand. When she pulled weeds, she just pulled weeds, noticing the texture of the soil, the roots of the plants, the warmth of the sun on her back. When she washed dishes, she just washed dishes, feeling the warm water, seeing the dishes become clean, hearing the gentle splash and clatter. This complete attention to simple tasks was a form of meditation, she realized. It quieted the constant chatter of her mind. It brought her into the present moment, and in the present moment, there was peace. The monastery had periods of silence when no one was allowed to speak. At first, Maya found this difficult. She was used to filling silence with talk, but gradually she began to appreciate it. In silence, she noticed things she usually missed. She heard birds singing that she normally wouldn't have noticed. She saw details in the architecture, in the plants, in the play of light and shadow. She became aware of her own breathing, her own heartbeat, her own thoughts. In the afternoons, Maya often walked outside the monastery walls. There were paths that led to various beautiful spots on the mountainside. One path led to a small shrine built among rocks where hikers had left offerings, stones, flowers, notes with prayers or wishes. Another path led to a viewpoint where you could see for miles in every direction. Another led to a grove of ancient trees, their trunks thick and twisted, their branches forming a canopy overhead. Maya would walk these paths slowly, stopping often to sit and observe. She watched marmots sunning themselves on rocks. She watched eagles soaring on air currents. She watched clouds forming and dissolving. She watched her own thoughts and feelings, noticing them without judgment, letting them pass like the clouds. One afternoon, she was sitting on a rock overlooking the valley when she heard footsteps. She turned and saw an elderly monk approaching. He had a long white beard and walked with a staff. His face was deeply lined, but radiated kindness and wisdom. "May I join you?" he asked. "Of course," said Maya, moving over to make room on the rock. The old monk sat down with a contented sigh. "These old bones don't climb as easily as they once did, but the view is worth the effort." They sat in silence for a while, both looking out at the vast landscape. "I am Brother Thomas," the old monk said. "I hear from Brother Marco that you are staying with us for a time." "Yes," said Maya. "I'm a teacher from the valley. I came to the mountains seeking something. I'm not sure what." Brother Thomas nodded. "We are all seeking something. That's what brings us to places like this. The question is, are we seeking something outside ourselves, or are we really seeking to understand ourselves better?" Maya thought about this. "I don't know. Maybe both?" That's an honest answer. Most people think happiness, peace, meaning, these things come from external circumstances. A better job, more money, the right relationship, the perfect house. But I've lived long enough to see that this isn't true. External things can make life easier, but they don't bring lasting peace. That has to come from within. "How do you find peace within?" asked Maya.
"By becoming comfortable with yourself," said Brother Thomas. "By accepting who you are, what you've done, what you've failed to do. By letting go of guilt and regret. By living according to your values. By being honest. By being kind, especially to yourself." He paused, looking out at the mountains. A hawk circled lazily on the air currents below them. The world teaches us to always want more, to never be satisfied, to compare ourselves to others, to judge ourselves harshly, Brother Thomas continued. But there's another way. We can choose to be content. We can choose to appreciate what we have. We can choose to see our failures as learning experiences rather than sources of shame. We can choose to treat ourselves with the same kindness we would show a good friend. That sounds difficult, said Maya. It is, Brother Thomas agreed. It takes practice. It takes intention. That's why places like this monastery exist. They provide space to practice. But you don't need a monastery. You can practice anywhere, anytime. Each moment is an opportunity to choose kindness over judgment, acceptance over resistance, peace over anxiety. They sat together for a long time, watching the afternoon light change, watching shadows lengthen across the valley. Brother Thomas seemed in no hurry to go anywhere. He was completely present, completely at ease. Finally, as the sun began to set, he stood up. "I should return for evening prayer," he said. "But I've enjoyed our conversation, Maya. Remember, the answers you seek are already within you. You just need to quiet down enough to hear them." He walked away, his footsteps slow but steady. Maya remained on the rock, thinking about his words, watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant colors. That evening, after prayer and dinner, Maya went to the library. She wanted to read, to learn more about meditation and mindfulness, about the path these monks followed. Brother Marco helped her find some books, ancient texts that had been translated from Sanskrit and Chinese, as well as more modern writings by contemplative teachers. Maya read late into the night by candlelight. The books spoke about letting go of attachments, about accepting impermanence, about finding joy in the present moment. They spoke about the nature of mind in reality. They spoke about compassion in wisdom. Some of the concepts were difficult to understand, but some felt immediately true, like Maya had always known them but forgotten. Reading these texts felt like remembering something important. Over the following days, Maya developed a routine: morning prayer, breakfast, work in the garden or kitchen, lunch, personal time for reading or walking, afternoon meditation, evening prayer, dinner, more reading or reflection, sleep. Each day was similar, yet each day was unique. The weather changed, the light changed, her inner state changed. She found that on some days, meditation came easily, her mind settled quickly. She could sit for an hour in peaceful awareness, observing her breath, feeling connected to everything around her. On other days, meditation was difficult. Her mind jumped from thought to thought. She felt restless, uncomfortable, distracted. Brother Marco taught her that both kinds of days were okay. Don't judge your meditation, just do it. Some days will be peaceful, some won't. That's natural. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep practicing. That's where the real transformation happens, in the consistent practice, not in the peak experiences. Maya also spent time in the monastery garden, which became one of her favorite places. It was beautifully maintained, with vegetables, herbs, and flowers all growing together in harmony. An old monk named Brother Paul was in charge of the garden. He had been tending it for 40 years. Brother Paul taught Maya about the plants. He showed her how to tell when vegetables were ready to harvest. He showed her how to prune properly, how to compost, how to save seeds for next year. He spoke to the plants as he worked, thanking them for growing, encouraging them to be strong and healthy. Plants respond to love, Brother Paul said. I know that sounds strange, but I've seen it.
The plants I talk to, that I care for with attention and affection, they grow better than plants I neglect. Everything wants to be appreciated, including plants. Working in the garden was deeply satisfying. Maya loved the feeling of her hands in the soil. She loved watching things grow. She loved harvesting vegetables and knowing they would be eaten that same day, fresh and nutritious. It all felt meaningful, connected to the real cycles of life. One day, as Maya was pulling weeds in the tomato bed, she had a sudden realization. She understood what had been missing in her life in the village. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't even a specific experience. It was presence. She had been living her life on autopilot, going through the motions but not really being there. Her mind was always somewhere else, planning the future, rehashing the past, worrying about various things. But here on the mountain, at the monastery, she was learning to be truly present, to be here now, to give her full attention to whatever she was doing. This presence transformed everything. Even simple tasks became meaningful when done with complete attention. This was the gift the mountain was giving her, Maya realized. Not some magical answer or profound revelation, just this, the ability to be present, to be awake, to truly live each moment instead of sleepwalking through life.
2 weeks passed, then 3. Maya had sent a message to the village explaining that she was staying longer at the monastery and asking for more time off from teaching. The response came back saying this was fine. They had found a good substitute teacher who could continue for a while longer. Maya felt relieved. She wasn't ready to leave the mountain yet. There was more to learn, more to experience, more to discover. Brother Marco invited her to attend some of the teaching sessions that happened at the monastery. Once a week, on Sunday afternoons, one of the elder monks would give a talk about some aspect of spiritual practice or philosophy. Other monks and any guests would gather to listen and discuss. This week, Brother Thomas was speaking. The topic was the inner mountain. Everyone gathered in the chapter house, a large room with wooden benches. Brother Thomas sat at the front, looking serene and ageless. He began to speak in his gentle, clear voice. "We climb physical mountains like this one," he said, gesturing toward the peaks visible through the window. "We exert ourselves, we overcome obstacles, we reach heights, we see views. This is good and valuable, but there is another mountain we must also climb, the inner mountain." He paused, looking around at the assembled monks and guests. The inner mountain is the journey inward, into ourselves. This journey is harder than any physical climb. The obstacles are not rocks and steep slopes, but our own fears, doubts, habits, and illusions. The heights we must reach are not measured in meters, but in wisdom and compassion. The views we see are not of valleys and peaks, but of the true nature of reality. Maya listened intently. This resonated deeply with her. Most people never attempt this inner climb, Brother Thomas continued. They spend their whole lives in the lowlands of unconscious existence. They react to life rather than responding thoughtfully. They're driven by desires and fears they don't understand. They suffer needlessly because they don't know themselves. But some people hear a call, just as some people hear the call of physical mountains. They feel that something is not right in their lives. They feel restless, incomplete. This restlessness is actually a gift. It's the beginning of the inner climb. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes. This was exactly what she had experienced.
The inner climb requires courage, Brother Thomas said. It means facing parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. It means letting go of comfortable illusions. It means accepting truths that might be painful. But the reward is freedom. Freedom from the constant anxiety and dissatisfaction that plague most people. He spoke for over an hour, explaining different aspects of the inner journey. He talked about the importance of silence and solitude for getting to know yourself. He talked about meditation as a tool for observing your own mind. He talked about the need for honesty and self-compassion. He talked about the role of service and compassion toward others as part of the path. When he finished, there was a period for questions and discussion. Several monks shared their own experiences of the inner journey. They spoke honestly about their struggles and insights. There was no pretense, no spiritual ego, just authentic sharing. Maya raised her hand. How do you know if you're making progress on the inner climb? Sometimes I feel like I'm learning and growing. Other times I feel stuck or like I'm going backward. Brother Thomas smiled. That's a very good question. The truth is, the path isn't linear. You don't steadily improve day by day. There are advances and retreats, insights and confusions, good days and difficult days. That's normal. That's how it works. He thought for a moment, then continued. But there are some signs of progress you can look for. Do you react less strongly to small annoyances? Do you have more patience with yourself and others? Do you feel more gratitude for simple things? Do you judge yourself and others less harshly? Can you sit in silence more comfortably? These are indicators that you're growing. The most important thing, he added, is not to make the inner journey itself into another source of anxiety. Don't worry about whether you're progressing fast enough or doing it right. Just keep practicing. Keep being honest with yourself. Keep choosing awareness over unconsciousness. The rest will take care of itself. After the talk, Maya went for a walk. She needed time to process everything she had heard. She walked to her favorite spot, the viewpoint overlooking the valley. She thought about her own inner mountain. What were the peaks she needed to climb? What obstacles stood in her way? She realized that one of her biggest obstacles was the need for approval. She had spent so much of her life trying to be what others wanted her to be, trying to live up to others' expectations. She had chosen to be a teacher partly because it seemed like a respectable, safe choice, not because it was her deepest passion. She dressed a certain way, spoke a certain way, maintained a certain image, all to fit in, to be approved of, to be liked. But what did she really want? Who was she beneath all these layers of social conditioning? These were hard questions. Maya didn't have clear answers, but she understood that asking the questions was itself important. It was the beginning of finding her authentic self. Another obstacle was fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of failure, fear of being alone. These fears had kept her playing small, staying in her comfortable routines, never taking risks. But what was she really afraid of? What was the worst that could happen? If she failed at something, she would learn from it. If people judged her, well, their judgment said more about them than about her. If she was alone, she could learn to be comfortable with her own company. Fear was just a feeling, Maya realized. It wasn't truth. It didn't have to control her choices. As she sat there thinking these thoughts, watching the afternoon shadows lengthen across the valley, Maya felt something shift inside her. It was subtle but real, a small release, a tiny opening.
like a tight knot loosening just slightly. She was changing. The mountain was working on her. The silence and solitude were allowing her to see herself more clearly, and what she was seeing, though sometimes uncomfortable, was ultimately freeing. She didn't have to be perfect. She didn't have to have all the answers. She didn't have to live according to others' expectations. She could be herself, flawed, searching, learning, growing. That was enough. That was more than enough. Maya sat until the sun set, then returned to the monastery for evening prayer. That night, she slept deeply and dreamed of climbing mountains, both outer and inner, reaching heights she had never imagined possible.
The days at the monastery continued to pass peacefully. Maya settled deeper into the routine, feeling more at home. The monks had accepted her as part of their community. They included her in their work, their meals, their prayers. She felt welcomed and valued. Maya continued to have conversations with various monks. Each one had their own story, their own wisdom to share. She realized that these men had given up much to live this life, but they had also gained much. They had peace, they had purpose, they had a depth of understanding that came from years of contemplation and practice. Brother Paul, the gardener, taught her about patience. "You can't rush a plant," he would say. "It grows at its own pace. You can provide good conditions, good soil, water, sunlight, but then you must wait. Pushing doesn't help." The same is true for personal growth. You can create good conditions, meditation, reflection, good habits, but then you must be patient. Growth happens in its own time. Brother Francis, who worked in the workshop making furniture, taught her about craftsmanship. "When you make something with your hands," he explained, "you put a part of yourself into it. If you work carelessly, the object will be careless. If you work with attention and love, the object will reflect that. This is true for everything we create, including our own lives. We are crafting ourselves every day with our choices and actions." Sister Anne, one of the few nuns at the monastery, taught her about balance. "Some people think the spiritual path is all about discipline and denial," she said, "but that's not quite right. Yes, we need discipline. Yes, we need to let go of some things, but we also need to care for ourselves, to honor our bodies and emotions, to find joy. Balance is key." Maya absorbed all these teachings like a sponge absorbing water. Each insight added to her understanding. She kept a journal where she wrote down important things she learned, questions she wanted to explore, observations about herself and her experience. Reading back through her journal entries, Maya could see how she had changed over the weeks. Her early entries were full of restlessness and questions. Her more recent entries were calmer, more reflective. She was beginning to find some answers, or at least to be more comfortable with not having all the answers. One morning, Brother Marco invited Maya to join him for his daily meditation in a special place. "I have a spot where I like to sit. It's very peaceful. I'd like to share it with you." They walked together outside the monastery walls, following a narrow trail that led up the mountainside. After about 20 minutes of climbing, they reached a small cave carved into the rock. It was just large enough for 2 or 3 people to sit comfortably. The opening faced east, toward the rising sun. "This is my sanctuary," Brother Marco said. "I come here every morning before dawn to meditate and watch the sunrise. It's my favorite time of day, my favorite practice." They sat on flat rocks at the cave entrance. The cold pre-dawn air was crisp. The stars still shone above, but the eastern sky was beginning to lighten. "Let's sit in silence," Brother Marco said. "Just be present. Watch the sky change. Watch your breath. Watch your mind. Just watch." Maya settled into a comfortable position and closed her eyes. She focused on her breathing, in and out, in and out. Her mind was busy at first, jumping from thought to thought, but gradually it settled. The thoughts became fewer, quieter. She opened her eyes and watched the sky. It was changing slowly, almost imperceptibly, dark blue becoming lighter, a hint of pink appearing at the horizon, then orange, then gold. The stars faded, the world emerged from darkness. Details became visible: rocks, plants, distant peaks. Birds began to sing. A cold breeze touched Maya's face. Then the sun appeared, a brilliant point of light on the horizon. It grew larger, brighter. Its rays reached across the valley, touching the monastery buildings, lighting up the mountain peaks. Maya felt tears on her cheeks. She wasn't sad, quite the opposite. She was moved by the beauty, by the daily miracle of sunrise, by the gift of being alive to witness it. They sat together watching the sunrise fully, watching the world wake up. Neither spoke. There was nothing to say. The experience was complete in itself. Finally, when the sun was well above the horizon and the day had fully begun, Brother Marco stood. "Thank you for sharing this with me," he said. "This is why I became a monk, for moments like this, for the privilege of bearing witness to the simple, profound beauty of existence." They walked back to the monastery in silence. Maya felt cleansed, renewed. The sunrise had washed away some inner dust, some accumulated tiredness. She felt fresh and alive. That afternoon, Maya helped Sister Anne in the kitchen, preparing dinner for the community. They worked together chopping vegetables, making bread, preparing soup. Sister Anne hummed softly as she worked, a wordless tune that seemed to match the rhythm of her movements. "You seem different than when you arrived," Sister Anne observed. "Lighter, somehow, less burdened." "I feel different," I agreed. "Being here has changed me. I'm learning things I didn't know I needed to learn." "What's the most important thing you've learned?" Sister Anne asked. Maya thought about this as she kneaded bread dough. "I think that I'm enough, just as I am. I don't need to be more impressive, or more successful, or more anything. I just need to be present, to be honest, to be kind. That's enough." Sister Anne smiled. "That's a profound lesson. Most people never learn it. They spend their whole lives trying to prove their worth through achievements and possessions. But worth isn't something you earn. It's something you already have, simply by existing." They worked in comfortable silence for a while. The kitchen was warm from the ovens. The smell of baking bread filled the air. It felt deeply satisfying to be creating food that would nourish people. "Will you go back to teaching when you leave here?" Sister Anne asked. "I think so," Maya said, "but I'll teach differently. More presence, less rushing. More focus on helping children discover themselves, less focus on just transmitting information. I want to bring what I've learned here back to my work." "That's good," Sister Anne said. "The world needs teachers who understand what you're learning. teachers who can help children develop inner strength and wisdom, not just academic skills. That evening, after prayer and dinner, Maya sat in the courtyard under the stars. She thought about how she would eventually need to leave the monastery and return to her normal life. The thought made her both sad and excited. Sad to leave this peaceful place, excited to apply what she had learned. She understood now that the monastery was not meant to be a permanent escape from life. It was meant to be a training ground, a place to develop skills and insights that you would then take back into the world. The real test would come when she returned to the village. Could she maintain this presence, this peace, this clarity in the midst of daily life's demands and distractions? Brother Thomas came and sat beside her. He seemed to sense what she was thinking. "You're wondering about the return," Brother Thomas said. "Yes," Maya admitted. "I'm worried I'll lose everything I've gained here once I'm back in my normal life." "That's a valid concern," Brother Thomas said. "It's harder to maintain these practices in the busy world, but it's not impossible. You just need to be intentional. Set aside time each day for meditation, even if it's just 10 minutes. Take regular walks in nature. Create small rituals that remind you to be present, maybe a moment of gratitude before meals, or a brief pause before entering your house each day. These small practices will help you maintain the connection." He paused, then added, "And remember, you can always return. The mountain will always be here. The monastery will always welcome you. Knowing that can help. You're not leaving forever. You're just returning to the world to practice what you've learned, and you can come back anytime you need to recharge." Maya felt comforted by this. She wasn't saying goodbye permanently. She was just completing this phase of her journey. "How will I know when it's time to leave?" she asked. "You'll know," Brother Thomas said, with certainty. "There will come a morning when you wake up and feel ready. You'll feel complete with this phase. Trust that feeling." They sat together peacefully, watching the stars, listening to the night sounds of the mountain. Maya felt grateful for this wise old monk, for his guidance and kindness. She felt grateful for all the monks and their willingness to share their lives with her. The monastery had given her so much: peace, insights, practices, a glimpse of a different way of living. She would carry these gifts with her always, wherever she went.
3 days later, Maya woke with the feeling Brother Thomas had described. She felt complete. It was time to return. She told Brother Marco at breakfast. He nodded, unsurprised. "The mountain has finished its work with you, for now," he said. "You are ready to return." The monks helped her prepare for her journey down. They packed food for her: bread, cheese, dried fruit. They filled her water bottles. They checked her backpack and boots, making sure everything was in good condition. Brother Paul gave her seeds from the monastery garden. "Plant these when you get home," he said. "Tending a garden will help you remember what you learned here." Sister Anne gave her a prayer shawl she had woven. "For the cold mornings," she said, "wrap yourself in this and remember you are wrapped in our love and blessings." Brother Thomas gave her a small carved wooden figure of the mountain. "Keep this on your desk," he said. "Let it remind you that the mountain is always with you, inside you. You carry it wherever you go." Brother Marco walked with her to the gate. "You are always welcome here," he said. "Consider this your spiritual home. Come back whenever you need to." They embraced. Maya felt tears threatening, but held them back. This was not goodbye, but rather until we meet again. She passed through the gate and began walking down the trail. After a few minutes, she turned to look back. The monastery sat peacefully on its mountainside, exactly as it had when she first saw it weeks ago. But she was not the same person who had arrived. She had been transformed. The walk down the mountain was very different from the walk up. Going downhill was easier physically, but required different attention. She had to be careful not to slip on loose stones, not to twist an ankle on uneven ground. It was a good metaphor, she thought. The spiritual path wasn't just about climbing up, it was also about coming back down, integrating what you learned, applying it to ordinary life. As she descended, the landscape changed. She passed through the high meadows, now familiar to her. She waved to Tomas's goats grazing in the distance, though she didn't see the shepherd himself. She entered the forest, welcome shade after the open mountainside. She walked slowly, in no rush. She stopped frequently to rest, to observe, to be present. The mountain had taught her that the journey itself was as important as the destination, maybe more important. She camped one night in the forest at the same spot where she had camped on her way up, but she experienced it differently now. She was calmer, more attentive. She noticed details she had missed before, the pattern of lichen on trees, the sound of insects, the way the firelight created dancing shadows. That night, lying in her tent under the trees, Maya reflected on her time at the monastery. What had she really learned? She tried to articulate it to herself. She had learned that peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. She had learned that presence, being fully in the moment, transforms ordinary experiences into something meaningful. She had learned that she didn't need to prove her worth through achievements or others' approval. She had learned that silence and solitude were not things to fear, but gifts to embrace. She had learned that spiritual growth wasn't about reaching some perfect state, but about showing up each day, practicing, being honest with yourself. Most importantly, she had learned that she had choices. She could choose how to respond to life. She could choose to be present or distracted. She could choose kindness or judgment. She could choose awareness or unconsciousness. These choices, made moment by moment, day by day, shaped who she became. The next morning, Maya continued her descent. By late afternoon, she emerged from the forest. The village was visible below, the houses with their red roofs, the river, the church steeple, the school where she worked. It looked the same, but Maya saw it with new eyes. She felt affection for her village, for its simple beauty, for the people who lived there. This was her community. These were her people. She had a role to play here, a contribution to make. She walked through the streets as evening fell. People saw her and waved. Word must have spread that she was returning. Children ran up to her, excited to see their teacher. "Miss Maya, you're back. We missed you." They hugged her legs, full of innocent affection. Maya's landlady, Mrs. Chen, came out of her house. "Welcome home, dear," she said warmly. "Your house is just as you left it. I've been watering your plants and collecting your mail." "Thank you," Maya said gratefully. "That was very kind." She entered her small house.
It felt strange at first, unfamiliar after weeks away, but also comforting. This was her space, her home. She unpacked her backpack, putting things away. She made tea and sat by her window, looking out at the village as darkness fell and lights came on in windows. She felt different here than she had before her journey. The restlessness was gone. In its place was a quiet contentment. She understood now that what she had been seeking wasn't somewhere else. It had been inside her all along, waiting to be discovered. That night, Maya slept in her own bed for the first time in weeks. She left her window open, and through it she could hear the river and, very faintly, the wind and the mountain forests above. The mountain was still there, watching over the valley, holding its wisdom and peace. And part of that mountain was now inside her, a resource she could draw on whenever she needed it.
Maya returned to her teaching job. The substitute teacher had done well, but the students were happy to have Maya back. "You look different, Miss Maya," one girl said. "You seem happier?" "I am," Maya said simply. She approached her teaching differently now. She still taught reading, writing, mathematics, and science, but she also incorporated what she had learned on the mountain. She began each day with a few minutes of silence, teaching the children to sit quietly, to breathe, to be present. Some children fidgeted at first, but gradually they learned to enjoy these quiet moments. She took the students outside more often, teaching lessons in the schoolyard or by the river. She showed them how to really observe nature, to look closely at plants and insects, to listen to bird songs, to feel the texture of bark and leaves. She taught them that learning wasn't just about books and facts, it was also about direct experience, about wonder and curiosity. She encouraged the children to ask deep questions. "Why do we exist?" one boy asked. "What makes something beautiful?" a girl wondered. Instead of dismissing these questions as too philosophical, Maya took them seriously. She facilitated discussions where children could explore these big questions together, learning that there weren't always simple answers, that thinking deeply was valuable in itself. The children flourished under this approach. They became more engaged, more curious, more thoughtful. Parents noticed the change and commented on it positively. The headmaster observed Maya's classes and was impressed. "Whatever happened to you on that mountain," he said, "it's made you an even better teacher." Maya also started a small garden at the school, planting the seeds Brother Paul had given her. Students helped tend it, learning about plant growth, seasons, and the satisfaction of growing their own food. When vegetables were ready, the school cook would prepare them for lunch. The children loved eating food they had grown themselves. In her personal life, Maya made changes too. She simplified her home, getting rid of things she didn't need or use. She found that having less stuff meant having more space, physical space, but also mental space. Less to clean, less to organize, less to worry about. She established a daily practice. Every morning before work, she would sit in meditation for 20 minutes. Every evening, she would write in her journal, reflecting on the day. Once a week, she would take a long walk by the river,
or, if she had time, up into the lower slopes of the mountain. These practices kept her connected to what she had learned, keeping her grounded and present. She also became more involved in her community. She started a meditation group that met once a week in the village hall. At first, only a few people came, curious but skeptical. But as they experienced the benefits, more calm, better sleep, less anxiety, word spread. The group grew.
People from all walks of life came. Farmers, shopkeepers, elderly people, young parents. They sat together in silence, learning to be present, supporting each other's practice. Maya felt she was fulfilling her purpose now. She was sharing what she had learned. She was helping others find the peace and presence she had discovered. It wasn't dramatic or glamorous. It was simple, quiet work, but it mattered. Months passed. Summer turned to autumn, then winter. Maya visited the monastery twice during this time, spending a week there during school holidays. Each time, she felt like she was coming home. The monks welcomed her warmly. She fell back into the routine easily, grateful for the opportunity to deepen her practice in that supportive environment. Brother Marco told her that she had become an inspiration to the monastery. "You are proving that you can carry these practices into the world," he said. "You don't have to become a monk to live with awareness and purpose. You can be a teacher, a community member, an ordinary person living an extraordinary life of presence." One evening during her winter visit, Maya sat with Brother Thomas by a fire in the monastery's common room. Snow was falling outside. The old monk seemed even more frail than before, but his eyes were still bright, his spirit still strong. "I want to thank you," Maya said, "for your teachings, your guidance. You helped me find my way." Brother Thomas waved his hand dismissively. "I didn't do anything. You found your own way. I just pointed at the moon. You saw it yourself." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the fire, listening to the wind outside. "Brother Thomas," Maya said, "do you ever worry that all this, the monastery, the practices, the teachings, won't survive? That the world is becoming too busy, too technological, too disconnected for this way of life to continue?" Brother Thomas thought for a moment. "I used to worry about that," he said, "but not anymore. The truth is, human beings will always need this. No matter how the world changes, people will always need silence, need reflection, need connection with something deeper than the surface of life. The forms might change. Maybe in the future it won't be monasteries, but different kinds of communities or practices. But the essence will remain. It has to, because it's part of what makes us human. And look at you," he continued. "You came to the mountain seeking. You found something real. Now you're sharing it with others in your village. Some of them will be touched by it. Maybe one or two will go deeper, will become teachers themselves. The wisdom spreads, quietly, person by person. It's always been this way. It will continue." Maya felt comforted by this. The work she was doing mattered, even if it seemed small in the grand scheme of things. Each person who learned to be more present, more kind, more aware, that made a difference. "What about you?" Maya asked. "You're getting older. Do you fear death?" Brother Thomas smiled. "Not anymore. I've lived a good life. I've loved. I've learned.
I've tried to help others. When my time comes, I'll be ready. Death is just another transformation, another step in the great cycle. I'm curious about it, actually. What comes next? We'll all find out eventually." His peaceful acceptance of mortality impressed Maya. This was another gift the spiritual path offered: freedom from the fear of death, understanding that you were part of something larger and ongoing. They talked late into the night, sharing stories and insights. It was one of those rare conversations where everything feels significant, where every word carries weight. Maya knew she would remember this night always. The next morning, before leaving to return to the village, Maya went to the cave where she had watched sunrise with Brother Marco months ago. She sat there alone this time, watching the sky lighten, watching the sun appear. She felt the same sense of awe and gratitude she had felt the first time. "Thank you," she whispered, to the mountain, to the sun, to the universe, to whatever force had led her on this journey. "Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for waking me up." The sun rose higher. The day began. Maya stood and walked back down to the monastery, ready to return to her life, ready to continue the work of being awake.
A year passed since Maya first climbed the mountain. It was autumn again, the same season when she had made her initial journey. Maya decided to hike up to the monastery again, to mark the anniversary, to honor how far she had come. This time, the climb felt different. She was stronger, more experienced. Her body knew the trail. Her mind was quieter. She walked with confidence and ease, enjoying each step, each view, each moment. When she reached the monastery, the monks greeted her like the old friend she had become. Brother Marco embraced her warmly. "Welcome home," he said. Brother Thomas was there too, looking more frail but still smiling. "Ah, our wandering teacher returns," he said. "Come, sit with me. Tell me about your year." They sat in the courtyard, and Maya shared her experiences. She told him about her teaching, about the school garden, about the meditation group, about the changes in her life and in herself. Brother Thomas listened with his characteristic, complete attention. When she finished, he nodded slowly. "You have done well," he said. "You have taken what you learned and made it your own. You have shared it authentically. This is exactly how the wisdom spreads, how the world gradually becomes more awake." "But I still struggle sometimes," Maya admitted. "Some days I forget to be present. I get caught up in worries or plans. I react unconsciously instead of responding thoughtfully. I'm not perfect at this." "No one is perfect," Brother Thomas said. "The path isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. When you notice you've become unconscious, that noticing itself is awareness. That's all you need, just to keep noticing, keep returning to presence, again and again, day after day. That's the practice." That afternoon, Maya helped in the garden with Brother Paul. They worked side by side, pulling weeds, harvesting vegetables. The work was peaceful and satisfying. "I planted those seeds you gave me," Maya told him. "They grew beautifully. The children loved watching them grow and eating the vegetables." Brother Paul smiled. "Seeds are miracles," he said. "You plant something so small, and it becomes something large and nourishing. It's the same with the seeds of wisdom. You plant them through your teaching, through your example. They grow in your students. One day, those students will plant seeds in others. The garden of wisdom expands, slowly but surely." That evening, Brother Marco took Maya to his sunrise cave again. They sat together as darkness fell and stars emerged. "I have something to tell you,"
Brother Marco said. Brother Thomas is dying. Not today or tomorrow, but soon. His body is giving out. He's ready. He's made his peace with it. But I wanted you to know, if you want to see him again, to say goodbye properly, this may be your last chance. Maya felt tears come. She had known Brother Thomas was old, had known this day would come, but knowing it didn't make it easier. Can I sit with him tonight? Just be with him for a while? Of course, Brother Marco said. He would like that. After evening prayer, Maya went to Brother Thomas's simple room. He was lying in bed, looking small and fragile, but when he saw Maya, his face lit up. Come in, he said. His voice was weak but warm. Sit with me. Maya pulled a chair close to his bed and took his hand. It felt thin and papery, but still warm. I'm not afraid, he said, as if reading my thoughts. I've had a good death, by which I mean a good life that leads naturally to death. I've done what I came here to do. I'm ready for the next adventure. I'm gonna miss you, Maya said, tears flowing freely now. I'll miss you too, Brother Thomas said, but we'll meet again, somehow, somewhere. Energy is never destroyed, only transformed. The love we've shared doesn't end, it continues in different forms. They sat together in silence. Maya didn't need to say anything else. Just being there, holding his hand was enough. After a while, Brother Thomas spoke again. I want to give you something, he said. He reached under his pillow and pulled out a small book. It was very old, the leather cover worn smooth. This is my journal. I've kept it for 50 years. I want you to have it. Read it when you need guidance or inspiration. My words will continue to teach even after I'm gone. I can't take this, Maya protested. It's too precious. That's exactly why I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to someone who will value it, who will learn from it, who might share its wisdom with others. Please accept it. Maya took the journal carefully, holding it like the treasure it was. Thank you, she whispered. I'll take good care of it. They sat together for another hour. Brother Thomas dozed on and off. When he was awake, he would say things, little pieces of wisdom, memories, observations. Maya listened to everything, treasuring each word. Finally, very late, Brother Marco came to check on them. You should get some rest, he told Maya gently. Brother Thomas needs sleep too.
Maya stood reluctantly. She kissed Brother Thomas's forehead. Sleep well, she said. Always, he replied with a faint smile. Maya went to the guest house, but couldn't sleep for a long time. She lit a candle and opened Brother Thomas's journal. The handwriting was neat and careful. She began to read. The journal was full of wisdom, observations about nature, reflections on spiritual practice, questions and insights, descriptions of his inner journey. Reading it, Maya felt like Brother Thomas was still speaking to her, still teaching her. She read for hours until she finally fell asleep with the journal on her lap, the candle burned down to nothing. In the morning, Brother Marco came to find her. His face was peaceful but sad. Brother Thomas passed during the night, he said, very peacefully, in his sleep. He's gone. Maya felt the news like a physical blow, but mixed with the grief was something else, gratitude. She had been given the gift of time with this wise, kind man. He had shared his wisdom with her. That gift would continue to influence her life forever. The monastery held a simple funeral. They placed Brother Thomas's body on a pyre and cremated it, as was their tradition. His ashes would be scattered on the mountain he had loved.
The monks chanted and prayed. Some shared memories of Brother Thomas, stories that made everyone laugh and cry. Maya stayed for the funeral, then remained a few more days. She needed time to process her grief, to adjust to a world without Brother Thomas in it. But she also felt his presence strongly. He was in the mountain, in the monastery, in the practices he had taught her. He was in the journal she now carried. His wisdom lived on. When it was time to leave, Maya walked down the mountain slowly, thoughtfully. She felt different than she had after her first visit a year ago. More mature, perhaps, more aware of impermanence, of the preciousness of each moment. Brother Thomas had taught her so much, but perhaps the final lesson was this: everything passes. People die. Experiences end. Nothing lasts forever. This wasn't a sad truth. It was what made everything precious. Each moment was unique, unrepeatable. Each relationship was a gift. Each sunrise was a miracle. Maya returned to her village with this understanding held gently in her heart. She continued her teaching, her meditation practice, her community work, but she did it all with more appreciation, more presence, more love. She knew that one day she too would die. Her body would return to the earth, her energy would transform into other forms. But the love she gave, the wisdom she shared, the presence she brought to each moment, these would ripple outward, touching others, continuing long after she was gone. This was the real immortality, not living forever in the same form, but contributing to the ongoing flow of life, adding your drop to the great river of existence. Maya had climbed the physical mountain and discovered the inner mountain. She had learned to be present, to be aware, to love. She had found peace not in escaping from life, but in fully engaging with it. And so her journey continued, not as a dramatic adventure, but as the quiet, daily practice of living with awareness, with kindness, with appreciation for the incredible gift of being alive.
Years passed. Maya grew older, but not less vital. She continued teaching, though eventually she retired from the school and began teaching in other ways, through the meditation group that had grown into a thriving sangha, through workshops on mindfulness, through simply being a presence of peace and wisdom in her community. She visited the monastery several times a year. It had become her second home, her spiritual anchor. New monks had joined. Some of the old monks had passed away, their ashes scattered on the mountain. But the place remained, a sanctuary of silence and practice, a lighthouse of wisdom in a busy world. Maya kept Brother Thomas's journal with her always. She had read it dozens of times, each time finding new insights. She began writing her own journal, documenting her experiences and understandings, thinking perhaps one day she might pass it on to someone else, continuing the chain of wisdom. She never married, never had children in the conventional sense, but she had hundreds of students who considered her a spiritual mother. She had a community that loved and respected her. She had a life rich with meaning and connection. The mountain watched over it all, ancient, patient, eternal. It had been there long before humans arrived. It would be there long after they were gone. But while they were there, the mountain offered its gifts: beauty, challenge, silence, wisdom. Maya understood now why she had felt that call all those years ago. The mountain had been inviting her to wake up, to become who she truly was, to discover the peace and presence that had always been available, just waiting to be noticed. She answered that call. She had climbed the mountain, both outer and inner, and in doing so, she had found what she had been seeking all along. Not something new or exotic, but something that had always been there, something simple and profound. Herself, her true self, present, aware, at peace. The mountain had taught her, and through her, it taught others. The wisdom flowed like water from the mountain springs, nourishing all it touched, sustaining life, continuing forever. On her 70th birthday, Maya made one more climb to the monastery. It was harder now. Her body was old, her joints stiff, but she managed it, taking many breaks, taking several days, arriving finally at the gates she knew so well. Brother Marco, now the abbot, now also old, welcomed her with tears of joy. "Our beloved teacher returns," he said. "Welcome home, Maya. Always welcome." That night, Maya sat in the courtyard under the stars, wrapped in the prayer shawl Sister Anne had given her decades ago. She held Brother Thomas's journal in her lap. She looked up at the mountain peak, silver in the moonlight. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for calling me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for this beautiful life." The mountain stood silent, as it always had, as it always would. But in that silence, Maya felt an answer. Not in words, but in presence, in love, in the deep peace that underlies all existence. She was home. She had always been home. The journey was necessary, the climbing was important, the learning was real. But ultimately, what she had discovered was what had always been there, waiting patiently to be recognized. Peace, presence, love, the eternal mountain of awareness, always here, always now, never absent, never far away. Just this, just here, just now. Always enough, always complete, always home. The stars wheeled overhead, the wind whispered through the peaks, the monastery slept in peace, and Maya sat in the silence, fully awake, fully alive, completely at rest. The end, and the continuing. Sleep well, dear listener. May you find your own mountain. May you answer your own call. May you discover your own peace. Rest in the eternal now. All is well. All shall be well. The mountain watches over you. You are loved. You are safe. You are home. Sweet dreams.
10 years after Maya's first journey to the mountain, something beautiful began to happen in her village. The seeds of wisdom she had planted were growing, blooming, bearing fruit. The meditation group she had started now had over 50 regular members. They met not just once a week, but 3 times, Monday evenings, Wednesday mornings, and Saturday afternoons, to accommodate people's different schedules. The village hall where they gathered had become a sacred space, a place where people came to find peace in the midst of their busy lives. But it wasn't just the meditation group. The whole village had changed in subtle but significant ways. People walked more slowly. They greeted each other more mindfully. Gardens had appeared everywhere, in front yards, in window boxes, in shared community spaces. The school had expanded its outdoor learning program, and other teachers had adopted Maya's methods of incorporating presence and awareness into their lessons. Maya, now in her mid-40s, had become a respected elder in the community, despite her relatively young age. People came to her for advice, for comfort, for guidance. She welcomed them all, sharing what she had learned, always pointing them back to their own inner wisdom.
One spring morning, a young woman named Sarah came to Maya's house. Sarah was 23, fresh out of university, new to the village. She was the new assistant teacher at the school. "Miss Maya," she said nervously, "I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I'm feeling lost. I thought I knew what I wanted from life, but now I'm not sure. I heard about your journey to the mountain, and I wondered if you could give me advice." Maya smiled, remembering herself at that age, restless, searching, not yet awakened. "Come in," she said. "Let's have tea." They sat in Maya's simple living room. Sun streamed through the windows. Plants grew on every sill. Brother Thomas's journal sat on a shelf, its leather cover even more worn now from years of reading. "Tell me about your restlessness," Maya asked. Sarah explained that she had done everything right, studied hard, got good grades, earned her teaching degree. But now that she was working, now that she was supposedly starting her real life, she felt empty. "I thought I would feel fulfilled," Sarah said, "but I just feel hollow, like I'm going through the motions but not really living." Maya nodded, understanding completely. "I felt the same way at your age. That's what sent me to the mountain. That restlessness is actually a gift, though it doesn't feel like one. It's your deeper self telling you that there's more to life than what you've been taught, more than the surface level of existence." "What did you find on the mountain? What's the answer?" Maya smiled. "The answer isn't something I can give you in words. It's something you have to discover for yourself. But I can tell you this, what you're looking for isn't somewhere else. It's not on the mountain or in any external place. It's inside you, right now, always available." She poured more tea for both of them. "The mountain taught me to be present, to really be here, in this moment, instead of always thinking about the past or worrying about the future. It taught me that peace comes from accepting what is, not from trying to make everything perfect. It taught me that I am enough, just as I am." Sarah listened intently. "But how do you learn that? How do you become present?" "Through practice," Maya said. "Through meditation, through mindful awareness, through paying attention to simple things. Would you like to learn?" Sarah nodded eagerly. Yes, please." And so Maya took on another student. She taught Sarah to meditate, starting with just 5 minutes a day, gradually increasing. She taught her to pay attention to daily activities, eating, walking, washing dishes, bringing full awareness to each action. She taught her to spend time in nature, to observe without judgment, to simply be. Sarah was a quick learner, hungry for this wisdom. Within weeks, Maya could see changes in her. She moved with more grace. She spoke more thoughtfully. Her eyes had a clarity that hadn't been there before. "I feel like I'm waking up," Sarah told Maya one day. "Like I've been asleep my whole life, and now I'm finally opening my eyes." "Yes," Maya said, "that's exactly what's happening. Welcome to the awakening." But it wasn't just Sarah. A retired carpenter named James came to Maya after his wife died. He was drowning in grief, lost without his partner of 40 years. Maya taught him to sit with his grief, to feel it fully instead of running from it, to understand that grief was love with nowhere to go. Gradually, James found peace. He started woodworking again, creating beautiful furniture that he gave away to young families just starting out. His grief transformed into generosity. A middle-aged woman named Lisa came to Maya, trapped in an unfulfilling marriage, afraid to leave, but also afraid to stay. Maya didn't tell her what to do. Instead, she taught Lisa to get quiet enough to hear her own inner guidance.
Lisa spent 3 months in deep reflection and meditation. In the end, she chose to stay in her marriage, but transformed her relationship with it. She stopped trying to change her husband and instead worked on changing herself, her reactions, her expectations. Paradoxically, as she let go of trying to control the relationship, it improved. A teenage boy named Marcus came to Maya, angry at the world, getting into trouble at school and with the law. His parents were desperate. Maya saw the pain beneath his anger. She taught him to channel his intensity into meditation and physical activity. She taught him that his passionate nature was actually a gift when directed wisely. Marcus began to change. He started a youth environmental group, directing his anger at injustice into positive action. He became a leader among his peers, teaching other young people about caring for the earth. Each person who came to Maya received what they needed. She didn't have a single approach or technique. She listened deeply to each person and intuited what would help them. Sometimes it was meditation. Sometimes it was nature walks. Sometimes it was just someone who truly listened without judgment. And many of these people, after being helped by Maya, began helping others. Sarah started a meditation group for young people. James taught woodworking to troubled teens, giving them the satisfaction of creating something beautiful with their hands. Lisa started a support group for women in difficult marriages. Marcus's environmental group grew to include dozens of young people. The ripples spread. The village was transforming from within.
One autumn, Maya had an idea. She proposed organizing a village pilgrimage to the monastery. Not everyone would go. Some people were too old, some too young, some not interested. But those who felt called could make the journey together, experiencing the mountain as a community. 20 people signed up. They ranged in age from 18 to 65. Some were experienced hikers. Some had never camped before. They spent weeks preparing together, gathering equipment, training physically, learning about the mountain. The departure day arrived. It was a festive occasion. The whole village came to see them off. Children waved banners. Mrs. Chen gave them homemade cookies for the journey. The baker provided fresh bread. Everyone was excited, proud of their neighbors who were taking on this adventure. Maya led the group. She set a slow, steady pace that even the less fit could manage. They walked together, but Maya also encouraged periods of silence, times when each person could have their own experience of the mountain. The first day's walk took them through the farmland and into the forest. That evening, they camped together, the same spot where Maya had camped on her first journey all those years ago. They built a large fire and sat around it, sharing stories, getting to know each other better. Sarah, the young teacher, sat next to Maya. "I'm so excited," she whispered. "I feel like I'm following in your footsteps, but also finding my own path." That's exactly right. We each have our own journey, even when we walk the same trail. The second day was harder. The climb became steep. Some people struggled, but the stronger hikers helped the weaker ones, carrying extra weight, offering encouragement. They were becoming a true community, bonded by shared challenge. They reached the high meadows in late afternoon. The wildflowers were in bloom, just as they had been when Maya first saw them. The group stopped, stunned by the beauty. Some people cried, some laughed with joy. Some just stood in silence, overwhelmed. They camped that night by the small lake near the pass. The stars emerged in their millions. Maya taught the group a simple chant that the monks had taught her. Their voices rose together, harmonizing, creating something beautiful. On the third day, they reached the monastery. Brother Marco, now quite elderly but still abbot, welcomed them warmly. "Welcome, friends," he said. "We have been expecting you. Maya told us you were coming. We are honored to host you." The monks had prepared the guest house and several other buildings to accommodate the group. Over the next 3 days, the villagers experienced monastery life. They joined the monks for prayers and meals. They worked in the gardens. They sat in meditation in the chapel. They walked the mountain paths. Each person had their own experience. Some had profound insights. Some simply enjoyed the peace and beauty. Some struggled with the silence and simplicity, but everyone was changed by the experience in some way. Brother Marco gave a special teaching one evening, speaking about community and individual practice. Some people think the spiritual path is a solitary journey, and in some ways it is. No one can do your inner work for you. But we also need community, need sangha. We need others to inspire us, challenge us, support us. The monastery is a community. Your village is a community. Together, we help each other wake up. On their last evening at the monastery, the group had a sharing circle. Each person spoke about what they were taking away from the experience. Many spoke about finding peace they hadn't known was possible. Some spoke about connecting with something larger than themselves. Some spoke about realizing what was truly important in life. When it was Maya's turn to share, she said, 20 years ago, I came to this mountain alone, searching for something I couldn't name. I found it. I found presence, peace, purpose, but the journey didn't end there. Now I see that what I found was meant to be shared, not hoarded, but given away freely. And in giving it away, it multiplies. Each of you will take something from this mountain back to your lives. You'll share it with others in your own way. And so the wisdom spreads like seeds on the wind, taking root wherever they land. The next morning, the group began their descent. They moved slowly, savoring their last hours on the mountain. Many people kept looking back, memorizing the views, fixing the monastery in their minds. The return to the village was joyful. Families and friends greeted the pilgrims with celebration, but those who had made the journey were quieter than when they left. They had been touched by something profound. They needed time to integrate the experience. In the weeks and months that followed, the effects of the pilgrimage became clear. People were more patient, more kind. The meditation group grew even larger as pilgrims shared their experiences and others wanted to learn. New initiatives started, a community garden, a tool-sharing library, a service group that helped elderly villagers with tasks they could no longer do themselves. The village was becoming what Maya had once only found at the monastery, a community of practice, a place where people supported each other's awakening, where presence and kindness were valued above wealth and status. But not everything was easy. As the village changed, some people resisted. They saw the meditation and mindfulness practices as strange or foreign. They missed the old ways, when life was simpler, when people didn't question things so much. A man named Robert was particularly vocal in his criticism. He was a successful businessman, wealthy and influential. He saw the changes in the village as a threat to productivity and traditional values. All this sitting around meditating, he complained at a village council meeting, it's making people soft, unambitious. We need to focus on economic growth, not navel-gazing. Maya attended the meeting. When it was her turn to speak, she stood calmly. "I understand your concerns, Robert," she said, "but I would ask you to look at the evidence. Our school test scores have gone up since we introduced mindfulness practices. Workplace accidents are down. Mental health issues are down. Crime is down. People are actually more productive when they're less stressed and more focused. The changes you're seeing aren't making people weak, they're making people whole." Robert wasn't convinced. He began a campaign against what he called the meditation cult. He spoke against it at every opportunity. He tried to get the meditation groups banned from using public spaces. He pressured the school board to remove mindfulness practices from the curriculum. For a while, it seemed like Robert might succeed in dividing the village. Those who had benefited from the practices were on one side. Those who were skeptical or threatened by change were on the other. Tension grew. Maya struggled with how to respond. Part of her wanted to fight back, to defend what she had helped create, but she remembered Brother Thomas's teachings about non-attachment, about accepting what you cannot control. She went to the mountain, making a solo pilgrimage to seek guidance. She spent 3 days at the monastery in intensive meditation and reflection. On the final morning, sitting in Brother Marco's sunrise cave, the answer came to her. She couldn't force anyone to understand or accept these practices. All she could do was continue to live them authentically, continue to be an example of peace and presence, continue to offer teachings to those who were ready to receive them. The rest was not her responsibility. She also realized that Robert's resistance was actually coming from fear. He saw the world changing in ways he didn't understand or control. His anger was a defense mechanism. What he needed was not argument, but compassion. When Maya returned to the village, she invited Robert to her home for tea. He came, suspicious and defensive. Maya didn't try to convince him of anything. She just listened to him, really listened. She heard his fears about the world changing too fast, his concerns about maintaining stability and tradition, his worry that his grandchildren were growing up in a world he didn't recognize. "I understand," Maya said when he finished. "Change is frightening, and I'm not saying everything about the old ways was wrong or everything about these new practices is right. There's wisdom in tradition. There's also wisdom in growth and evolution. Maybe there's a way to honor both." Something in Robert softened. For the first time, someone had really heard him without judging him or trying to change his mind. "I don't like all this meditation stuff, but I can see it helps some people. My daughter-in-law says it's helped with her anxiety. I just don't want it forced on everyone." "It shouldn't be forced on anyone," Maya agreed. "That's not how it works. These practices are for those who are drawn to them, who need them. Others may find what they need in other ways, in church, in nature, in family, in work. There are many paths." After that conversation, Robert stopped his active opposition. He didn't become a meditator himself, but he stopped trying to prevent others from practicing. The village council reached a compromise. Meditation groups could continue using public spaces, but participation in school mindfulness programs would be optional for students whose parents objected. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was workable. The village learned that community doesn't mean everyone thinks the same way. It means people with different views can coexist respectfully, can even learn from each other's perspectives. This experience taught Maya an important lesson. The spiritual path wasn't about converting everyone or creating a perfect community where everyone was awakened. It was about doing your own work, being authentic, offering what you could offer, and accepting that not everyone would be ready or interested. That was okay. Everyone was on their own journey, in their own time.
Maya continued teaching into her 60s and 70s. Her body aged, her hair turned white, her face lined with wrinkles, her movements slower, but her presence grew stronger, clearer. People felt peaceful just being near her. She reduced her formal teaching as she aged, focusing more on one-on-one mentoring with students who were seriously committed to the path. She also spent more time at the monastery, sometimes staying for months at a time. Brother Marco passed away when Maya was 65. She was there when he died, holding his hand, just as she had been with Brother Thomas decades before. His death was peaceful, beautiful even. He simply stopped breathing, a gentle smile on his face, as if he was greeting an old friend. The monastery chose a new abbot, a younger monk named Brother David, who had joined the community 15 years earlier. He sought Maya's advice frequently, valuing her wisdom and her long relationship with the monastery. "You are a bridge," Brother David told her, "between the monastery and the world, between the tradition and the future. Your life shows that these practices can be lived authentically anywhere, not just in monasteries." Maya felt honored, but also humbled. She had never sought to be special or important. She had simply followed her inner calling, had tried to live with presence and integrity. If that inspired others, she was grateful. But she knew the real work was ordinary, daily, unglamorous, just showing up, practicing, being present, being kind. In her mid-70s, Maya began to feel her own death approaching, not imminently, but within a few years. She could feel her life force beginning to ebb, like a tide slowly going out. She wasn't afraid. Death was just another transition, another transformation. She had lived fully. She was ready. She began to prepare. She gave away most of her possessions, keeping only essentials. She made sure her affairs were in order. Most importantly, she made sure her teachings would continue. She had several mature students now who were capable teachers themselves. The meditation groups were well established with skilled facilitators. The school had fully integrated mindfulness practices into its curriculum. The work would continue without her. She spent her last year mostly at the monastery. Her body was failing. She had difficulty walking, was often in pain. But her mind remained clear, her presence strong. Young monks would come to sit with her, to ask questions, to simply be in her peaceful presence. One spring morning, a young monk named Brother Peter came to her room. "Teacher," he said, "I'm struggling. I've been practicing for 5 years, but I still feel so far from enlightenment. I still get angry, anxious, selfish. I feel like I'm failing." Maya smiled. "Dear one, you're not failing. You're being human. The path isn't about becoming perfect or getting rid of all difficult emotions. It's about being aware. You notice your anger now, whereas before you might not have. You recognize your anxiety, your selfishness. That noticing is awareness. That is the practice." "But I want to be free of these things," Brother Peter said. "Freedom doesn't mean eliminating difficult emotions," Maya said gently. "It means not being controlled by them. It means you can feel anger without acting destructively. You can feel anxiety without believing all your anxious thoughts. You can notice selfishness and choose generosity anyway. That's freedom." Brother Peter thought about this. "So I'll always have these struggles?"
The struggles may become less intense over time, but yes, as long as you're human, you'll have challenges, and that's okay. The goal isn't to escape being human, but to be fully, consciously human, to be present with all of it, the pleasant and the unpleasant, the easy and the difficult. "Thank you, teacher," Brother Peter said. He left feeling lighter, more accepting of his own humanity. These were the kinds of conversations Maya had in her final year. Simple, honest, practical. She wasn't interested in lofty philosophy or spiritual bypassing. She taught people to be real, to be present, to be kind to themselves and others. In a beautiful day in early autumn, exactly 50 years after her first journey to the mountain, Maya felt death approaching. She could feel it like a visitor arriving. She asked Brother David to help her outside to the courtyard where she could see the mountain peak and the sky. They arranged cushions for her. She sat there peacefully, looking at the view she loved so much. Other monks gathered quietly, sensing this was significant. Some of her students from the village arrived, somehow knowing they should come. The sun was setting. The sky was magnificent, orange and pink and purple. Maya watched it with complete attention, appreciating every moment, every shift of color. As darkness fell and stars emerged, Maya spoke her last words. "Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful life, for the mountain, for the teachings, for all of you. Remember, just be present, just be kind, just be. That's enough. That's everything." Her breathing became slower, shallower. Those gathered around her began to chant softly, prayers and mantras, their voices creating a beautiful harmony. Maya listened, smiled slightly, then closed her eyes. She took one more breath, then no more. She was gone, slipping peacefully from this world into whatever comes next. They sat with her body through the night, maintaining vigil, honoring her passing. In the morning, following monastery tradition, they cremated her body. Her ashes were scattered on the mountain, just as Brother Thomas's and Brother Marco's had been. She returned to the earth she had loved so much, becoming part of the eternal cycle.
Years passed. The village continued to thrive. Maya's students became teachers themselves. Sarah, the young woman who had come to Maya all those years ago, was now the village's primary mindfulness teacher. She led meditation groups, taught at the school, counseled people who were struggling. The annual village pilgrimage to the monastery had become a tradition. Each year, a new group made the journey, experiencing the mountain, connecting with the monastery, finding their own insights and transformations. The monastery itself was flourishing. Brother David proved to be an excellent abbot. Under his leadership, the monastery maintained its traditional practices while also adapting to serve the modern world. They offered retreats for lay people. They trained meditation teachers. They engaged with environmental causes, becoming advocates for protecting the mountains and forests. Maya's story was passed down, told to children, written about in books, remembered in the village's collective memory. But she wasn't made into a saint or a perfect being. People remembered her honestly, as a real person who had struggled, who had questions, who had made mistakes, but who had committed to waking up, to being present, to being kind. A small shrine was built in the village, not to worship Maya, but to remember what she represented, the possibility of transformation, the power of presence, the importance of inner work. People would stop there sometimes,
sit for a moment, reflect on their own lives. In the village school, a new tradition started. On the anniversary of Maya's death, students would take a day of silence, no talking, just being present. They would practice the mindful awareness Maya had taught. Some found it difficult, some found it boring, but some, a few each year, found something profound in that silence, something that would change the direction of their lives. One such student was a boy named Lucas. He was 12 years old when he experienced his first silence day. Something about the quiet affected him deeply. He felt like he could finally hear his own thoughts, could feel his own feelings without distraction. He became interested in meditation and mindfulness. Sarah took him under her wing, teaching him, guiding him. By the time he was 18, Lucas knew what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to go to the monastery, to become a monk, to dedicate himself fully to the path of awakening. His parents were surprised, but supportive. They had seen how the practices had changed their son from an anxious, scattered child into a calm, focused young man. If this was his calling, they would honor it. Lucas made the journey to the monastery and asked to join the community. Brother David interviewed him carefully. "Monastery life is hard," he said. "It's not for everyone. Why do you want this?" "Because I feel called," Lucas said simply.
The same way Maya was called to the mountain, the same way you were called. I can't explain it better than that. I just know this is my path. Brother David saw the sincerity in the young man's eyes. "Very well," he said. "You can join us as a novice. We'll see if this life suits you." Lucas thrived at the monastery. He took to the discipline naturally. The hard work didn't bother him. The silence nourished him. The community embraced him. Within 5 years, he was fully ordained as a monk. Brother Lucas, as he became known, proved to be a gifted teacher. He had a way of explaining complex spiritual concepts in simple terms. He could meet people where they were, whether they were complete beginners or advanced practitioners. Young people especially connected with him, perhaps because he wasn't that much older than them, perhaps because he spoke their language. When Brother David was ready to retire, the community chose Brother Lucas to be the new abbot, even though he was relatively young. Under his leadership, the monastery continued to evolve while maintaining its core mission, to be a place of practice, a refuge from the busy world, a lighthouse of wisdom. Brother Lucas often thought about Maya, though he had never met her. He had heard countless stories about her. He had read her journals, which had been preserved at the monastery. He felt connected to her across time, felt like he was continuing her work. One autumn day, 50 years after Maya's death, Brother Lucas stood at the place where her ashes had been scattered. He was now in his 60s, gray-haired, weathered by decades of mountain living. He had lived a good life, a life of service and practice. He felt grateful. "Thank you, Maya," he whispered to the mountain wind. "Thank you for answering the call, for doing the work, for showing us the way. Your light continues to shine through all of us who follow the path you illuminated." The wind blew gently. The sun shone on the mountain peaks. Somewhere far below, in the valley, the village went about its day. People working, children playing, the river flowing, life continuing its beautiful, ordinary, extraordinary dance. The mountain stood eternal, patient, holding all of this in its vast embrace. It had been there long before humans came. It would be there long after they were gone. But while they were there, the mountain offered its gifts: challenge and beauty, silence and wisdom, a path upward, a path inward, a chance to wake up. Some heard the call, some answered it, some climbed the mountain, both outer and inner, and in doing so, they changed not just themselves, but the world around them, one person at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. The wisdom spread like water, like light, like seeds on the wind. It couldn't be stopped, it couldn't be destroyed, it could only continue, flowing from teacher to student, from parent to child, from friend to friend, forever. And somewhere in that eternal flow, Maya's presence continued, not as a ghost or a spirit, but as influence, as inspiration, as a reminder that transformation is possible, that presence is powerful, that kindness matters, that love is the answer to every question. The mountain called her. She answered. She climbed both mountains, the one of rock and snow, and the one of consciousness and awareness. She had found what she was seeking and had shared it freely with anyone who was ready to receive it. And now, decades after her death, her light still shone, not diminished, but multiplied through all the lives she had touched, through all the people who had learned from her, through all the generations yet to come who would hear her story and feel something stir in their own hearts, a call, a longing, a knowing that there is more to life than what appears on the surface. The mountain waits for them all, patient, eternal, ready to teach anyone who is ready to learn, ready to call anyone who is ready to listen, ready to transform anyone who is ready to change. Sleep now, dear listener. Rest in the peace that passes understanding. Know that you too are part of this great story, this eternal dance of awakening. You too carry the mountain within you. You too have light to share. May you sleep deeply and dream sweetly. May you wake refreshed and present. May you live with awareness and kindness. May you answer your own call when it comes. The mountain watches over you. All is well. All has always been well. All shall always be well. Rest now. Just rest. The beginning and the end are one. The journey and the destination are the same. You are already home. You have always been home. You will always be home. Peace, presence, love, forever and always.